Hi, I'm Jennifer of Celtic Knot Crochet, and today in this video I'll be showing you how to make the Celtic Knot Coaster. This is a simple project using basic crochet stitches, and I'll show you each step of the way. If you like this video and this tutorial, please make sure to give us a thumbs up, and don't forget to click to subscribe so you can see more tutorials like this one. Let's get started. In this video, I'll be going over all the supplies you need to crochet the pieces that will be woven into this Celtic Knot Coaster. I'll also show you the stitches that make up the entire project and give you some tips about how to weave the knot and how to finish the project. Let's go over the supplies. First, you'll need some cotton size 3 yarn. Now I love this cotton. I found this at Hobby Lobby, and one skein will make you several coasters. According to this, it says that it's a medium weight yarn, but my experience is that it's a little bit thinner than medium weight, and it's not your typical dishcloth cotton. It's a little bit nicer than that. I'm using bright green and red, and then this pretty parchment, just like a bone color, instead of stark bright white. You can use any size 3 yarn, or if it's a medium weight yarn but is thinner like this one, then that would work nicely for the diagram that goes with this project. So you'll need 3 colors. If you wanted to do a Christmas version, of course you could use the green, red, and some kind of white. But of course you could make these in any color you would like. And then you'll want a size H or 5mm hook and a yarn needle or a tapestry needle. I'll go over the weaving supplies when we get to that part of the project. Remember, this pattern is a free crochet pattern that you can find on my website at celticknotcrochet.com, and there you'll be able to download a PDF of the diagram to help you weave the Celtic knot. It's all for free, so just visit celticknotcrochet.com. To make this project, you're going to crochet 2 long cords. So if you want the red to be in the center, then that would be cord 1, and it would be shorter than the other cord. And it will look something like this. And then you'll crochet a green cord that's just slightly longer. So let's start with crocheting the cords first. First, you'll want to put your slip knot on your hook, and you'll want to chain 65 chains. So I'm just going to chain a few so I can show you how to make the stitches. So I'm using green because in some ways that can be easier to see here on the video. So for cord 1, which is the center cord, on this one it's red, and on this one you could see it's green. You're going to chain 65. Then you're going to skip that first chain, and you're going to start working in the second chain. But we're not going to work in the front. Here is the front of the chain. We're going to turn the chain over where you see it's very bumpy, and we're going to work in that bump right here. We're going to insert our hook through those back bars or back bumps. I have a video explaining how to do this in detail if you'd like to watch that up here. And I'm just doing a single crochet. So I'm going to insert my hook in that back bar, yarn over, pull up a loop, 2 loops on my hook, yarn over, pull through 2. That's a basic single crochet, and you're just going to do single crochets in each stitch all the way across. And that will make up cord 1. So cord 1 will look like this with 64 single crochets. Now I recommend measuring this cord so you know that your stitches are about the same size as mine, you want to make sure that the cord is 18 inches long. So cord 1 will be 18 inches long. Then you will do the same thing for cord number 2. But instead of 65 chains, you're going to do 85 chains. And that will make this just a little bit longer. And this cord is going to measure in at 24 inches. So cord number 2, when you measure it and lay it out nice and flat, don't stretch it, it will be 24 inches and it will have 84 single crochets. So to sum up, you want cord 1, 65 chains, 64 single crochets, and it will be 18 inches long. Cord 2 will be 85 chains, 84 single crochets, and it will be 24 inches long. Once you've completed these cords, now you're ready to weave the Celtic knot. To weave the Celtic knot, you'll want a piece of cork board or foam core board. Mine is about 1/4 of an inch thick, and you'll want it at least 6 inches by 6 inches. Mine's a little bigger, that's fine. You'll need the diagram that you can print out at CelticKnotCrochet.com. It's free there as a PDF download. Then you'll need some straight sewing pins. These help you, kind of like giving you an extra hand in the process. And then you'll also need your completed cords. Cord number 1 and cord number 2, the longer one. Now with any Celtic knot project, you want to take a few minutes to look over the diagram so you're familiar with it before you start weaving. So you can see there's this large black asterisk, and that is the starting point. And then you can see here these dotted lines. This shows where we're going to hide the end of the cord. So by hiding the end of the cord over another cord, you can't see where it begins and where it ends. And that is one of the things that makes the Celtic knot so intriguing. It looks like it doesn't have a beginning and an end, so it adds a lot of interest to your project. Then you'll also see a bunch of arrows, and that's to help you go in the correct direction. And then all of the loops, these big loops here, are numbered so you know which order you should be coming across them. So I always recommend you take your finger and you start at the asterisk and you follow the arrows, and I'm going along the red path. And I can see how the cord or the red path is passing over and under depending on where I end up on the diagram. So again, you can see I'm coming to loop 1, then loop 2, then loop 3 up here, and then the last loop 4 before I go here to the asterisk. So make sure you take a minute to do that. Then you're going to start with cord 1, which is the shorter cord, and you're going to start with the end that you began your single crochet stitches. So it would be the end that does not have a yarn tail. The other end has your 2 yarn tails from where the chain began and then where you ended your single crochet. I'm going to place the end right at the asterisk along the red path. And I follow, pinning in place whenever I need some help holding the cord in the circle shape. Now as I come back around here, I'm going to pass over the beginning Again, I'm going to hold that in place. And now I'm going to work this way to loop 2. Now, here is when we start coming up on a cord that we've already laid down. So I'm going to move it out of the way and peek at the diagram. And I can see that this way is going to pass over what I've already put down. So I'm going to go over like so. And then I'm going to peek over here. And I look at this right here, and I'm going to go over again. So when you're weaving this knot, keep in mind that for loop number 1, you just lay it flat. It's the first one there. You don't have to do any over or unders. Then when you get back to the beginning, you're going to go over that, over here, and over here. So you have 3 overs in a row. Now we're going to move up to loop 3, and I follow it around, and now I'm going to peek here, and I'm going to go over again like so. Now here's a tip for you. Once you have completed the 3rd loop for this particular knot and you've gotten to this point right here, the rest of the passes over the other cord sections are going to alternate with over, under, over, under. So we have over right here. Now we're going to go under this one. Now we come up on this one. We're going to go over right here. Then we're going to go under the next one. And we're going to go around, as you see here. Here are the arrows. So we just went under, and now we're going to go over. And now we are meeting up with the very beginning of our project. See how I did that there? And now you can see that all of the passes, if I follow with my finger, are going to alternate over, under, 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 over, and back to the beginning. Now you might need to adjust your loops so everything looks nice and even. So I like to take out some of the pins. I like to keep the one there where it started. And for the most part, it looks like mine are pretty even. And I like to keep these yarn tails on because I use them later to finish the project. So I just want to make sure that everything is nice and in place. Now, if you like this knot just the way it is, I show you a quick and simple version of a Celtic knot ornament that you could make using this knot just as it is. So you would not use your second cord, and you would just keep it like this. And if you visit my blog, CelticKnotCrochet.com, you'll see a few photos of a simple Celtic knot ornament that you can make using this knot. But since we're making the Celtic Knot Coaster, I'm going to grab cord number 2, and remember, the end with the yarn tails is going to go at the very end. So I'm going to begin at the end where I had the first single crochet, and I'm going to start in the same place that I started cord 1, but now I'm going to follow the green path. But what's even easier than trying to peek underneath at the diagram is to just follow what we've already done. So I'm just going to put this green cord right next to the red one and follow that same path I just did. So I'm going to start by putting it underneath right at the beginning. And now I'm going to follow along. So I'll take the end and put it through here. So I have it going under and around like this. See how I'm just following that first cord. So now I have 2 cords next to each other. Now I'm coming around here and I'm going under this. I still want to follow the diagram pattern of going to loop number 2. So that's to help you in case you get a little confused. I just did loop 1 down here, and now I'm going across over here to 2. And now I'm going to go under. Make sure it doesn't twist up, so I want to make sure that this nice right side of all of the single crochets are facing forward, facing me. So now I'm going to go work my way up to 3 by coming across the front here. See how I'm just following that first cord. So the first cord is now going under right here. This is where it starts getting a little tight, but you want that because you want your coaster nice and thick so it can absorb the moisture from your drink, like so. And I'm going to continue because I'm heading up to number 3 here. So right here I'm going to go under. And I just make sure that the cords are sitting next to each other and not on top of each other. Then I follow the cord around. And I like to put a pin on the edge so it doesn't get out of place. And now is my last pass where I'm coming towards loop 4, and I'll be back at the beginning. So I'm following this cord, and it goes over, and now I'm going to go under these 2 right here. Make sure that they're all still not twisting and that it's laying flat. If they start pulling up, just press them back down. Another thing you can do is you can take your yarn needle, and with these yarn tails, you can put the yarn tail through the yarn needle, see at the end of my cord, and I'm following and I'm going to go under again right here. And so with the yarn needle, it helps you get the cord under there a little easier than before, like that. And then I follow around until I come to the beginning. Pin that right there. And that's how you weave the Celtic Knot Coaster. Now that I'm ready to take it off the diagram, I'm just going to pin in a few spots here where the cords are crossing over each other, just to help hold my project together, like so. And then I remove all of these pins so that I can lift my project up. And now we're going to work on sewing the sections together so our coaster will stay nice and tightly woven. So you could see how the end of my cord here, I couldn't quite get it underneath at the beginning because everything was pinned down. So now's my chance to make sure that it comes through to the other side, on the wrong side. And now you can see where the cord ends meet up with each other. So here's the beginning and the end right here of both of my cords. And I'm going to sew those together. So you see that beginning there and this beginning here, and the cord 1 beginning and end. So I'm going to sew those together using my tapestry needle or my yarn needle. Thread the yarn tail on and go through the cord end just like so, and then go back around again. And I do that a couple times to make sure it's nice and secure so my Celtic knot doesn't unravel. And I'll do that for the other cord as well. And then I'm going to use these tails to sew together all the outside loops. This inside area you can sew together if you'd like, but it's nice and secure because of how tightly it's woven. So you see with mine, I didn't sew them together, but they're not going anywhere because they have a nice secure frame and everything fits together nicely. So I'm going to show you how to sew up this project using a nicely contrasting yarn tail. Normally you would want to use some of the matching yarn that's sitting right here as part of your yarn tails. But so you can see better, I'm going to show you how to do one of these sections, and you'll want to repeat it for all 4 all the way around. So I'm going to work in either the back loop, you can see here from the stitches, this would be the back loop of the stitches. But what's even better is if you could pick up a loop that's on the back side of the cord, and then I'll pick up a loop over on the other cord like so. Now when I do that, I weave through a couple stitches and then tie a nice secure knot, and then I'll weave the short tail in later. And then I'll work my way around the loop by going through a loop on the back of each cord, and this is called a whip stitch. And this way, on the front side of your coaster, you're not going to see these stitches, and the cords will still have a nice look to them where they're all nice and even. See how they're even, and you can see the nicer edges for the cord, and they're not being pulled all tight and look funny. So, and I'll continue doing that around all 4 of the loops. And that creates a nice secure, now they're joined together. And you might want to also sew these openings here. That might help you keep it more secure, especially if some of your stitches are looser than mine. You could see a little bit of a gap right there, and in all areas that there are gaps, you could always sew it up on the wrong side so it's even tighter. And when you're finished, it would look something like this. See, you could see all the whip stitches, and I sewed some across the middle here, and I wove in all the ends so that it's not gonna come apart. And now the last thing to do is to put this single crochet edging around the outside edge. A few notes about the colors. Again, remember cord 1 is shorter and will be at the center. So I did a cord 1 of red for this one, cord 2 of green. But if you wanted to swap the colors, this is what it would look like. Cord 1 is green, cord 2 is red. Then I also just wanted to try a red and white look. So cord 1 is red, cord 2 is the white or the bone color. And then as for the edging, I liked putting a contrasting color. So I put this nice bone next to the green and the red, but then for the red and white one, I put the red on the outside, so it contrasted with the white cord number 2. So you can experiment with that. In order to do this edging, you're going to put your slip knot on your hook, and you're going to pick up your Celtic Knot Coaster that's been woven, and you're going to start right where 2 loops meet, right here. And I'm going to put my hook into the back loop of the stitch on the outside edge. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. And that's a single crochet, and that's called joining with a single crochet. And I'm going to continue doing nice loose single crochets in the back loop around the entire coaster. Now this one hasn't all been sewn together yet, so yours will look a little different as far as see how this cord is coming loose. That's why you want to sew them together. But I loosely single crochet around the loop, and then when I get here to where this loop meets the next loop, I just make sure that it's not pulling too tight, and I think I've done enough in this loop, so then I'll move on and now start working in the next knot loop. And you want to make sure that you do this loosely. You don't do these stitches too tight, or it could make your coaster not lay flat. And I really think that that edging really helps to finish off the coaster. And then I have one little tip for how to end it, so I'll show you that. After I've gone around the coaster, I'm coming up here to the very end, and I could see there's one more stitch that I could do a single crochet in. And now as I lay it down, I see the first single crochet and the last meet up. So I'll cut my yarn about 6 inches out, and yarn over and pull through. Now I'm not going to join with a slip stitch to that first single crochet. Instead, I'm going to put the yarn tail on my yarn needle, and I'm going to go right into that the first single crochet of the round, like that. And that snugs it up. I'll come back through the middle of the last one, like so, and then back down through, and now I have a nice finished edge without a big ugly knot. And then I would just weave these ends through the stitches on the back side. Since it's white, I want to put it through the stitches like so. And you could go for a couple inches like that to make sure that your yarn tail is tucked in there nicely and not going to go anywhere. So that's how you make the Celtic Knot Coaster. I hope you enjoyed this project. Don't forget to check out my blog at celticknotcrochet.com, where you'll find this free pattern. You'll find the Celtic knot diagram as a PDF free download, and you'll also see the version of how to take this simple knot and turn it into an easy Christmas ornament. I hope you enjoyed making this project. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up and click to subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Happy crocheting!